the deck. It's a Course in Miracles deck of cards.
Where do you get that?
Okay.
Amazon. I'll put a link in the group.
What's it
Okay.
called? Is it called A Course in Miracles deck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what's cool about them is these are pretty much the overview of everything they teach. Like
Okay.
these are the highlights. So you can pick one a week. You can see just what do I need to focus on today and draw one out. But these are really, really good. And if you learn these, like you really go in and you contemplate them, like what does this really mean? What's more of it? So I'll read this one to you. My holiness shines bright and clear today.
Mm.
And then the other side says, in this world, you can become a spotless mirror in which the holiness of your Creator shines forth from you to all around you. You can reflect heaven here.
Mm.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yeah. I recommended this to my clients that are just starting out on A Course in Miracles because that's a good way to get little
Okay.
bite-sized pieces and just really start introducing. We have them all over our house.
That's good. That's a nice way to kind of, like you said, just kind of take it in bits and pieces and
Yeah.
digest it. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Holiness surrounds me. Or you could do a lesson in the morning and just forget about it and stress That's fun too.
You know what's surprising about that is I have been doing, my book is all a mess. It's all tore up. I've been
Oh, that's
doing,
beautiful. I love that.
yeah, this book for 13, almost 15 years. And I've gone through the workbook and I've never done the exercises like do this 3 or 4 times a day. Never remember. Just have been interested and read a few things and then read some other things. I haven't done anything systematically. I don't even remember reading the text, but it's highlighted, so I must have. But it comes back to me. Like it's just during a conversation, something from the course comes back to me. And sometimes I think I made it up and then I'll read it in the course and go, oh, I must have read that there first. It doesn't really.
So it's seeping in. So it's good.
It is.
Seeping in slowly. Well, okay, let's see what seeps in today. We are reading through the manual for teachers, and we're reading through characteristics of God. We've read through trust, honesty, and today we're going to do tolerance. It's characteristic 3 on page 12 of the manual for teachers. If your book is like mine, Brian, the numbering starts over. So
yeah, okay.
Text, and then it goes through the workbook, and then the manual for teachers is after that. Page 12 is tolerance.
All right. It's really
Want
interesting.
me to read it?
Yeah, go for
it. All right. God's teachers do not judge. Uh-oh. Well,
are you judging something right now?
We already blew it. The judge is to be dishonest, for the judge is to assume a position you do not have. Judgment without self-deception is impossible. Whoa. So judge is to assume a position you do not have. Judgment without self-deception is impossible. Judgment implies that you have been deceived in your brothers. How then could you not have been deceived in yourself? Judgment implies a lack of trust, and trust remains the bedrock of a teacher of God's whole thought system. Let this be lost, and all his learning goes. Without judgment are all things equally acceptable. Wow, that's crazy. Without judgment are all things equally acceptable. I don't have too many days where all things are equally acceptable. For who could judge another otherwise? Without judgment are all men brothers. For who is there who stands apart? Judgment destroys honesty and shatters trust. No teacher of God can judge and hope to learn. So judgment without self-deception is impossible. So there's obviously some self-deception going on here. And the basis of that deception is separation. I'm surviving. No matter what, I'm trying to be, for example, I'm trying to be Jevon. I'm trying to be the separate thing, Jevon. And to be separate Jevon, I have to have separate resources. And then there's this whole zero-sum game that has to happen, if that's the case. And the zero-sum game is, if I take it, you don't have it. And so there's a scarcity game that's in this zero-sum game. And it becomes this game of accomplishment, which I love. I love that game too, because accomplishment is I don't have it. And I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. Jevon, this character, is going to do a bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to get it. And in the zero-sum game, I got to take it from somebody, which means someone has to lose. Someone has to have less of so I can have more of. And then I can be satisfied. I'll show the story goes.
Oh, you figured it out. I'm so proud of you.
I know. It's wonderful.
And so now you're happy.
God's teachers do not judge. So what the heck is that? Well, how is that possible to not judge and be in a body and to do stuff?
Well, for me, I don't know if this is a complete step, but it is to hold all things as neutral. Everything is neutral. Nothing has an inherent meaning. And so if it's neutral, you can't judge anything that's neutral. So that it's not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is something that's happening to be not to be determined by me. And so judgment implies so many things. And I think the reason that the ego judges is because it's a form of being in control. If I can determine ahead of time or right now that this is good or bad or right or wrong, then I can protect myself in either engaging with it or not engaging with it, or with that person, being safe from that person. So it's like this radar of what's safe in the world. And the ego determines that by placing judgments on it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Yeah.
But we can't judge those things because we actually don't know. We don't know what's right or wrong. If I love do I have this one out? I might not have this one out. There's the card that says, I do not know my own best interests.
I was just thinking that.
We were talking about that
gosh.
on Monday.
That's like that's my new mantra.
Here you go to. Oh, there it is. I do not perceive my own best interest, which is awesome. That's such a great. That to me is a deep breath.
That is derailing, man. Totally derailing.
What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, all events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good?
When you talk about right and wrong, I think in terms of thinking good and evil, I think sometimes.
Same thing.
Right. So I'm putting in a different perspective. I'm like, well, that person is, they're on the side of evil, and this person's on the side of good, and like bullies, right? I hate people that are bullies and try to talk down other people, and I'm really sensitive to that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll step up in an instant and and fight for that person or make sure that injustice is being righted. You know,
Yeah.
that's where I kind of get into it on that side, you know.
So can you see how that event, like step back just a little bit?
So I'm judging, right? Yeah.
You're judging, but can you see how that event might be neutral? Kid getting bullied might be neutral. What if the greatest gift for that kid is in that experience?
I was that kid.
And
Right.
what did it give you?
Right. Give me empathy for people that are in that situation. Right.
So then was the event evil?
At the time, I think it was, but eventually the lesson, right, turned out for me to be able to help somebody else. Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't know first of all, if we don't know what's in our best interest, we can't possibly know what's in somebody else's best interest. And it doesn't mean that if you see someone doing harm to somebody else that you don't step in. It's just we're invited not to call that evil, not to judge it. It could be that the opportunity is presenting for you to step into this role as an advocate of that person, but it doesn't have to be done with hatred or even fear, anything based in fear. Just like, no, no, no. I mean, parents do it with children all the time. You know, Jevon, your kids fight and you don't call one of them evil.
What?
You just like, nah, that's not happening. We're going to stop that.
You don't do that?
You don't do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I
Oh,
like the
I don't
word.
do
I
that.
like the word advocate. Advocate's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What fear or anger or even just frustration, because if I'm in a place where I think something should be happening, even if it's more subtle than good and evil, it's just like preference.
Mhm.
Which is the same thing if you think about it. It's the same thing. If I know my best interests, like I want to fight evil from my family, it's like, well, okay, you can get your whole culture around that. But even if it's just a subtle thing like your preference, that's the same thing, which separates you from the gift of reality. Could it be possible that everything that shows up in my experience, in my perception of reality, could it be that everything is my gift and my teacher and my offering from the creator?
Yeah. Even wilder than that, it's what we asked for.
Yeah, and there's no separation between the creator and me, the real me.
Yeah.
Like I am the orchestrator, the chooser. That's what Kinowapnik calls the consciousness is one choice. There's only one choice, and the chooser chooses uh, either the world of separation, sin, and guilt, which is the perceived experience of the world as a person, or the Holy Spirit's perception of the world, which is unity, abundance, love, and really contentment. It's just everything is okay. Everything is wonderful as it is, and every experience, even the bad ones, right, are what we wanted in an ultimate sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not the character. The character is pissed off all the time, or frustrated, or impatient. I mean, some characters that I know.
And characters that I know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So don't judge, not for our morality's sake, but for my own contentment's sake. Could it be that everything is perfect? Thank you, God. I rest in God. That was whatever that lesson was. What lesson is that? Please? I rest
109. 109.
Book 109. I rest in God. It's one of my daily reminders now.
Good, Johnny. Good.
I
It's
rest
helpful.
in
It's helpful.
I rest in God. It's God who does the doing, not me. Be still and let the doing or the not doing happen. Rest when there is no work, work when there is. When a challenge comes, know it's going to be a good story. An anchor for kids and my wife and my loved ones. There is one power, one ruler, one doer, not two. I rest in God.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. I came up with that myself. No, just kidding.
I heard that.
That
An
was
original, yes.
that was one of Denise's lessons. You may have heard it on the show.
That sounds a little familiar to me. Yeah. Like,
So 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 here we go. Now, it's interesting though how, for me anyway, how I can make anything in I can usurp it for my own separate agenda. So for example, I can rest in God or not judge and then go off the path of accomplishment and then start to beat myself up that any number of stories, right? That I'm not engaging in the world, and so I'm missing out in lessons of forgiveness because I'm separating myself, or I'm not being a good father or parent, or spouse, not engaging enough, or I'm not accomplishing enough. I mean, that whole race. And then if I get too into being this character, then I'm too frustrated. I'm too lost in my character. I don't trust God. I need to rest more. Contentment's here. What am I striving so far? So I'll no matter what the character is doing, my personality or my ego can keep me suffering, keep me separate from abundance, separate from contentment. And it's an interesting thing though. I heard someone say, pursue, or he said something like, fight for what you want like you're right, but listen like you're wrong. And I like that because there's this thing that we're doing when we think we're still a body, like we're doing stuff, right? I'm like working on loans and I'm like fixing things in my kid's break and I'm, driving to see family or whatever it is. And then in that accomplishment game that I'm playing, there are some things that need to happen if I wanted to accomplish the thing, like if that was something I wanted to do. And like a game, why don't I try to get it? That's pretty fun. Let's play Monopoly. Well, I want to try to win because why not? It's fun. But when I get committed to win, like Carolyn, when I play Catan, however you say it, and she's committed to win. And if I start to beat her, she gets mad at me as a person. She's not upset that she's losing the game. She's pissed. And I'm like,
I love that.
babe, are you okay? She's like, yes, like angry, like legitimate angry. So, I try to have her win all the time. And every once in a while, I'll play the Monopoly card, right? Which means I get to steal any card that I want from her. And oh my gosh, it's like the end of our marriage if I played that Monopoly card. I'm like, do you want me to take this card out of the deck? And she's like, no, keep it in there. so I'm playing the game, but also if I'm listening like I'm wrong, or listening, or I guess another way to say it is I'm not necessarily attached to the outcome that I'm trying to get. I don't have to have the outcome to be content or to be happy or to be right or to be good. I don't have to have it. Because if I did, then I suffer. Even when I'm doing something great, even when I'm trying to keep my kids safe and prepare for my family and be a light in the community. If I have to have any outcome, then I suffer while I'm doing that so-called good thing.
Yeah. Lower your expectations. Did you ever see, there was, I think it was an SNL that said that. It was like, lower your expectations. And the guy's looking at him and he goes, lower, lower, no, lower. And then he goes, perfect. That's perfect. So we can tell if we have expectations as how we respond to whatever shows up. So when you stop, I learned this was really fun. First of all, I'm a foodie, so I can pretty much be in love with any food that I put in my mouth. There's only two foods that can't go in my mouth: liver and lima beans. Everything else, I am delighted to enjoy.
No lima beans, huh?
And no, and Joe has specific taste. He's got a wide range, but he knows what he wants. So when we go out to dinner, he knows what he wants to order, and I want the menu, and I can't have that. So I just say, you order, and I'll eat. And I have no expectations about what's coming, and I don't care. Whatever shows up in front of my face, I love it. Same thing if we're going to go someplace. I just really want to be with Joe. So I don't care where we go. Like, he can set the wherever. I'm going to have a great time because my agenda has already been met because he's in the car with me. So, but I extend that into many areas of my life. Joe will say, what's on your agenda today? And I'll say, I have no idea. Like, there's obviously things that need to be done, but I often will set out to do things and then I end up in the garage working on something.
Yeah.
So now I just leave it very open, hold my day loosely. And I use the prayer from A Course in Miracles that says, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? And in that way, I'm giving this form along with this mouth and these ears and these eyes to God, to you do whatever you want with this today. And I'm just going to be along for the ride. And not only am I along for the ride, but I'm delighted with the experience that we have. It would be like your parents getting you up and saying, we're going on a trip today. And you say, where are we going? And they say, well, I'm not telling you. You're going to find out when we get there. That's what my days look like. We're going to find out when we get there. So my level of disappointment is 0. It's nothing to be disappointed about because I'm not anticipating something that I wanted to have happen in my day.
Yeah. You got to have an attachment to be disappointed.
Yeah. So Charlie is a 7 on the Enneagram.
My Charlie.
And you're Charlie. And so this, in the 7's mind, they're always planning this amazing future. It's always going to be this amazing, incredible experience, whatever that future is. And it can be Carolyn saying, I'm going to take you to the grocery store today. In his mind, he's already conjuring up this great experience. Well, 7s live with a tremendous amount of disappointment because it never is, it's not Disneyland every day. And in one form or another, they're fantasizing about Disneyland every single day in some form. So,
This is true.
yeah. So that's definitely something that I would be working on with him. Like, what do you think the day is going to be like? And then dialing him back to, what if it's just a surprise? What if it's none of that? What if we do something happens and we do something completely different? Just to try to bring him into the, I don't know, world.
Yeah.
Like, if we started with, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We Carolyn locked herself out of her car, and so me and the boys went and saved her before school. It was early. She was at her gym still, and like her key stopped working, the battery, and we went and got her. And then on the way back, since everybody was late for school anyway, because of the timing, we're like, we had 2 cars. We're gonna do a treat. Let's get a treat. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what should we do? And Charlie's like, I want to go to Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm like, I don't want to go to Dunkin'. They have bad coffee. Starbucks has good treats. Let's just do Starbucks. Good coffee, good treats. And it was like, yeah, cookies and muffins and things at Starbucks. Anyway, Charlie starts to cry hysterically because he was now set on Dunkin' Donuts. No one wanted to go there. And it was just his idea in his head.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're crying hysterically that you're going to get these things that you love. It's your favorite thing about a trip is we go on to Starbucks and get treats. And now you're crying hysterically. You're out of your mind, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out of my mind. I'm like, and now you're yelling at me because I want to take you to Starbucks to get a treat. He's like, I'm out of my mind. I'm like, okay, well, I'm looking at him. I do that.
Yeah,
Remember
well, when
those
we
days?
had him, we had that experience, only it was around In-N-Out Burger, that we were not going to go stand in an hour line of In-N-Out Burger after we had already been to the Discovery Cube. And he was so upset about it. And Joe's like, we're going to go into wherever it was, a fast, maybe it was Burger King. I don't remember. And he's like, and I said, what do you want, Charlie? You can still have a hamburger. He's like, nothing. And I said, okay. So we got him nothing. And we got home and we got his friend a burger and we got home and he's all upset. And I said, well, you could have had a burger, honey, but you wanted nothing. So we're going to go with that. Yeah. That didn't work. It didn't work. I mean, it worked for me, but it didn't really work for him. He just went up to his room and he was quiet for a couple hours. And I'm like, well, that works too.
Yeah.
He's not even yelling.
He sulks. He likes to do that.
Yeah. That's cool. He can do that.
It's all about the
It's
kids,
so funny.
right?
Which is me though. All those things are me. That's the thing, because not everyone has the luxury of a life where you can be contemplative, or you don't feel like you can. Like, let's say you have a 9 to 5 job. 9 to 5 job, like, oh, I can't be like Denise and just be led by whatever God has for me. Well, maybe, or what if you just did, or what if I just did my 9 to 5 job or my packed day in the same way? Like, I show up to the thing on my calendar, but whatever happens, like I'm driving there and someone cuts me off. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that person. They're in a really, that's incredible that you spent that much energy to get, 25 feet in front of you.
Right.
Wow. And I could be curious and open and not attached in all the little parts. I don't have to live at the Love Ranch and have the flexibility of no appointments to be curious and have an engagement and trust God. I can adhere to my schedule as best I can and also be curious and trust God in all the outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like you don't have to have your list. You can have your list. You just hold it loosely for whatever else might show up today. Or that list could be done in a very different way. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Ask Jonathan, holy cow. If he that's my oldest son, if he was attached to his list, he's remodeling. He was given free flooring and now he's torn apart his cabinets. He's tearing apart this is in the kitchen, tearing apart his countertop, learning all this stuff. Now we have to repaint the whole house. The whole house has to be repainted. Like, it's just been one thing after the other. And Jonathan is somebody who likes a checklist and an agenda, and he likes, things to go just so, but he's held it all very loosely. Like, what are you doing today, Jonathan? We're going to find out. I don't even know. I'm going to start in one corner and we're going to find out what happens, because he keeps being interrupted by things he doesn't understand. And now he has to go learn them. And then he has to drive an hour to Kingman to get a tool. He's been to Kingman every single day for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we live in a very remote area, Brian.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So the closest place for us to get anything is Kingman.
Yeah. They have a friend owns some property out that way.
In Meadview?
It's just outside. It's outside, like the south side of Kingman.
Oh, that's the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's remote out there. Very remote out there.
Yeah. Anyway, it makes it a little more challenging when you're building a house.
Oh my God. Yeah. Right.
He's got more tools though. That's cool.
He does, Jevon. And did I tell you the last time we talked that now I think he's got enough tools that we can flip houses.
Excellent. Let's
do it.
And you have the construction crew.
We do.
Jonathan and Joe.
And me.
And
I
of course.
am the one that does most of the work.
Yes. And you. You just make it better. Whatever it is
You're the project manager over there.
Make it better.
I try. I do get some resistance over here, Brian. They're not all working through the Course in Miracles. Otherwise, they would know not to question the teacher of God.
Then you get the T-shirt. Yeah. Then you get the T-shirt.
Yeah.
All right. We figured it out. Don't judge.
Okay, so another point that can be made about teachers of God do not judge. I don't know what time it is, Jevon. This is what I would like. I would like my phone to show me what time it is while I'm on a call like this, but there's no,
6:40.
There really is no time, is there?
uh-uh. You have to go up.
We're just making that up, right?
We're making that up. We got all day. When it says the teachers of God do not judge,
Yeah.
to judge it is to be dishonest, for to judge is to assume a position you do not have. So even when we do think we're doing a thing called judging, we aren't, nothing's happening. We're not judging something. We're placing a label on something, but not the thing in reality, in the ultimate reality, nothing is being judged.
So it's not saying do not judge. It's not saying you shouldn't judge. It's saying teachers of God don't judge.
They don't.
It's like impossible.
Right.
And the reason I think I'm judging is because I'm associated with an entity or a separate thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's because you are deep in your illusion.
Oh my God, he's so handsome though. My illusion is rocking it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. If you're going to have an illusion, she'd make it handsome.
I mean, come on. So that's really, I think it's really amazing, just that whole concept. And when you're talking about things through the filter of A Course in Miracles or non-dual thinking, it flips everything on its head, because our language and the way that most people do life is all about the character, this person, this persona that we think we are. And the point of the Course is that we're not that.
Right.
We're not that. Or so who am I? And so that is that big question, that big spiritual question that really is the most important question. Who am I? Because if I am someone that could die and can lose, then I got to get to work, because who wants to die and lose stuff? That sucks. What if I am something, someone that can't lose because it is everything, and can't die because it was never born? What if that's true? Well, that's kind of mind-blowing, because that's not how Jevon lives.
Right.
And so it tears down my world and rebuilds it, and I haven't gone anywhere in an instant. And so the only thing I need to do is remember who I am, or at least remember that this thing is not that big a deal that I'm giving my life to and making my life around, moment by moment, whatever my agenda is, right? I give my life to whatever, a certain dollar amount that I want to see in this thing called a bank account, this digital representation of my life. So I give it my representation of my life, or the reaction to somebody. Like if Carolyn's upset with me, it's really hard for me to function at all. I'm just like,
well, you should be a better man then.
yeah. Well, she doesn't ever yell at me.
Did you hear me?
She's never yelled at me. But what is really difficult is she starts to get quiet, because Carolyn is the fabric of the family, and everything resides and is on this fabric. And so when the fabric gets pulled away, we're all left naked and not knowing what we're doing. And so like when she pulls it back, and so then the question is, well, do I need her to be anything to be okay? Well, that's a really good lesson. The few times that she's not been okay, man, is it a lesson, that an opportunity for me to be okay, that when someone else is not okay. Kind of, it's the same thing as, can I be happy if I don't accomplish a certain thing?
So can I ask a couple questions around that?
Sure.
Let's do some inquiry. What does it give you when Carolyn's okay?
Well, it's part of accomplishment, I would say. I'm building a family, and I'm doing this so that the family's okay, and that Carolyn has a good life, and the kids have a good life, and people I care about have a good life.
So if Carolyn's okay, you feel what? What's the experience?
Okay, I guess. Everything is okay.
Okay. If Carolyn's not okay, what happens to your experience?
It's a feeling of the range of experience is either anxiety, and sometimes up to anger. Like if it's unreasonable, if I deem it unreasonable that I've been subjected to this punishment, I have gotten angry. Usually it's just anxiety. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it. Like I wanna make her okay. And so then,
And if okay, so just lost my question.
oh dang
If
it.
if she's not okay, what's your fear?
Well, if she's not okay, then the family's not okay. And if the family's not okay, I'm a failure. And if I'm a failure, uh, everyone is going to find out the truth of my worthlessness, and everyone's going to leave, and all of my hopes for success and worth are going to fail, and I'm going to end up alone, and the truth is going to be found out that I am unlovable.
So she's God.
Yeah.
So you've put her on that throne and you're relating to her as God, the all powerful one that has, now obviously not to this extent, but if you look at it in this way, that she's literally responsible for whether or not you do well, the family does well, her mood, by the way, not a witch's wand. She's not casting any spells, but
She is.
that
She's
her
doing.
mood has the power to influence whether the family's okay, whether you're successful, whether you're worthy or not. So you've put her, she's an idol that is on your throne. And what God wants is our undivided devotion and our recognition of who God actually is, not these pretend gods that we put on the throne. And these gods, these mini gods, are really wreck our life because we're always trying to serve them instead of recognizing the reality and the truth, the deepest reality. So, can I read something to you?
Sure.
So, this is out of Neville Goddard's deluxe collection.
Neville Goddard Deluxe
Goddard,
Collection.
he's a Christian mystic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember from how far back, but this is a collection of his letters. Anyway, it says,
Is that a book? Is that a book?
Yeah. Let's go. Well, I'm going to just start here. The story of creation is given us in digest form in the first chapter of John. Quote, "In the beginning was the Word." Now, this very second is the beginning spoken of. It is the beginning of an urge, a desire. The Word is the desire swimming around in our consciousness, seeking embodiment. The urge of itself has no reality. For, quote, "I am," end quote, or the awareness of being is the only reality. I am being the name for God, right? So that is the only reality there is. Things live only as long as I am aware of being them. So to realize one's desire, the second line of this first verse of John must be applied, and that is, and the word was with God. The word or desire must be fixed or united with consciousness to give it reality. The awareness becomes aware of being the thing desired, thereby nailing itself upon the form or conception, and giving life unto its conception, or resurrecting that which was hereforto a dead or unfulfilled desire. Quote, two shall agree as touching anything, and it shall be established on earth. This agreement is never made between two persons. It is between the awareness, I am, and the thing desired. You are now conscious of being. So you are actually saying to yourself without using words, I am. Now, if it's a state of health that you're desirous of attaining, before you have any evidence of health in your world, you begin to feel yourself to be healthy. And the very second the feeling, I am healthy, is attained, the two have agreed. That is, I am and health have agreed to be one, and this agreement ever results in the birth of a child, which is the thing agreed upon, in this case, health. And because I made the agreement, I express the thing agreed. So you can see why Moses stated, I am hath sent me. For what being other than I am could send you into expression? None, for I am the way. Beside me there is no other. If you take the wings of the morning and fly into the utmost parts of the world, or if you make your bed in hell, you will still be aware of being. You are ever sent into expression by your awareness, and your expression is ever that which you are aware of being. Moses stated, I am that I am. Now, here is something to always bear in mind. You cannot put new wine in old bottles or new patches upon old garments. You cannot take with you into the new consciousness any part of the old man. All of your present beliefs, fears, and limitations are weights that bind you to your present level of consciousness. If you would transcend this level, you must leave behind all that is now your present self or conception of yourself. To do this, you take your attention away from all that is now, your problem or limitation, and dwell upon just being. That is, you say silently but feelingly to yourself, I am. Do not condition this awareness as yet. Just declare yourself to be and continue to do so until you are lost in the feeling of just being, faceless and formless. When this expansion of consciousness is attained, then within this formless deep of yourself, give form to the new conception by feeling yourself to be that which you desire to be. You will find within this deep of yourself all things to be divinely possible. Everything in the world which you can conceive of being is you. Within this present formless awareness, a most natural attainment. So instead, what you've done, what's been your practice, is to put onto Carolyn that which it is that you wish to be, which is valuable, peaceful, uh, um, in flow, in control, whatever the things that you want how you want Carolyn to show up in your world is like you're trying to borrow that from her instead of cultivating that within yourself through the truth of the awareness of I am. I am worthy. You don't need her to show you that. I am success. You don't need her to show you that. I am abundance. I am peace. I am joy. Whatever those I ams are. And I think, so this is the best description for me that I've read to help me understand when there's a lot of spiritual teachers that will say, just do your meditation practice with the words I am. Repeat it over and over and over and over. It's not that you're trying to convince yourself of the godness of you. You're trying to awaken it. Just awake. It's already there. It's all complete. We're just being invited to remember I am.
And Denise, to go maybe a step further with that, I recorded my I ams and I play mine to myself on my phone.
Great.
So
Great.
I'll do it at night when I'm before I go to bed, and I'll just play it. So I
Yeah.
hear myself saying it to myself.
Yeah.
It's good practice, like you're saying. To kind of be in that rhythm.
So that when you run into a challenge, do you remind yourself of that?
I try to. That's what we were talking about the other day. It's like I know all these things, I have these tools, but do I always use them? Right. So it's trying to be in as much present mind practice to use those as I can each day. So I think I'm getting better. I have the awareness. So I just need to make sure that I'm being consistent. And the more I do it, the more I do it, the more it's gonna come through for me. So
Yeah.
and I'm feeling it more now than before. So I think I'm getting better, and being invited here, it helps reinforce that. So
Yeah, I find that too, that when I have to, in the beginning, when I'm unlearning something that I've learned, experienced all my life, and I'm trying to unlearn it, I usually put visual things in front of me. It could be something that I'm wearing. I don't know if you remember, A Complaint-Free World is where those silicone bands became famous. But there's things that I will put in front of me because I'm not yet conscious enough to catch myself with them. So I need visuals to keep me on track with those things. And we can use our experience. So whatever disturbance that's happening within us, we can make that claim, I am the opposite of that. So I am all knowing. All knowing is always here. The creator of the universe, it dwells within us. We have access to knowing everything. This is like the only YouTube channel we ever need to figure out how to build things or do things or directions to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I'm carrying around a lot of stress, it's been my accomplishments that's been bothering me lately has been the making money, creating a new income. And so I'll carry around as stress, and the conversation is it's not going to be okay. And if I've been noticing it as painful or whatever suffering that I'm involved in, but unpreferred, right? I'm worried about it, or I'm anxious about it, or anything unpreferred. So then when I notice it, I'll catch it, and then what I've been doing is finding it in my body, because I want to let it go, and I actually find it. For me, it's either in my chest or in the back of my head, which is interesting that it isolates there. But it's just in my meditation practice, I can feel when I'm free. I can feel when I've let everything go in meditation. So when I go into like a meditative kind of state, even for a moment, I can feel my resistance, and I feel it in those places in my body. And so what I've been doing is stopping, noticing, feeling the resistance, reminding myself it's okay. It's okay. It's like, it's okay. I trust God. Do I trust God? Yes. Okay, well, it's okay. It's okay. And releasing whatever's there. And there's not even a thing, right? It's not even like a tiger that I can run away from. It's, fear itself that's going to get me, right? This anxiety that's spreads over everything, and everything becomes a problem, and there is no solution. Like that kind of thing that makes it, unfightable. And so, but it's okay. And so then I release it. And then once I release it in that empty, it's more like there's no thing I'm getting. It's an emptiness that finally resides when I've let it go. And in that emptiness, it's really not empty. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a free, content feeling. It's very open, free, content. It's like right before playful. It's like there's nothing to be achieved. There's nothing to be worried about, because nothing could be taken, because there's nothing there. And I'm complete with the nothing, so to speak, right? In my context of being Jevon, there's nothing. But in the converse of that, in that nothingness is everything. And like everything that could have a perception of form comes from that nothing. And so when I stop and get there, I'm complete, and it's wonderful. So how often do I do that? Well, not very often. How often could I do that? Well, I could do it all day long. It's difficult for me to be in that place and be pursuing things. To an extent, I can do it and be at least not in a bunch of pain and suffering while I pursue my things. But it's the practice, I guess, for me, is figuring out how to engage in life from that free place.
So the scripture I was just reminded of is seek first the kingdom of heaven. So let's say that peaceful place. This is the thing about living in this paradigm of God versus the world, living in a spiritual dimension rather than living in the world, is that it doesn't make sense. It's always, the spiritual way is always counterintuitive to the human way and experience, because the human experience is based out of fear, and control is its major mechanism. So you certainly can't be free and just, enjoy yourself in life and expect things to turn out. And yet we're told over and over and over in scriptures that actually is the way.
Mm-hmm.
So seeking first the kingdom of heaven and making that your drive, that your passion. I remember when I made this transition with Joe. So I just adore my husband, Brian. He's yummy. It's so good to
Beautiful.
me. And
I love it.
we have such a beautiful relationship. And I put him on the throne. And the way that I knew that I put him on God's throne is the amount of attachment that I had to him and this relationship. And I was pursuing that, maintaining that. That was my first priority. First thing in the morning, big smile on my face. Love you, honey. How about some coffee? Anything to like just my world around him. And I realized that will destroy me if something happens to him. And I asked God several years ago, it's about 3 years ago, I want my experience with Joe to be with you. I want you to be the greatest desire of my heart. I want to miss you. I want to make sure that I'm in your presence and feeling your warmth and guidance and words and all that. I want that to be first. and then this, because if something happens to Joe from that state, it would be painful, but it wouldn't be the end because my God will not have died. But if I make Joe my God and he died, my God will have died. And that's a terrible place to put yourself into, awful lot of extra suffering. So that scripture, seek first the kingdom of heaven and his right ways and living, abiding, doing this abiding in God instead of using God as a tool or a crutch or something that I grab for when the ox is in the ditch. So, and look at the lilies of the field. Like they don't toil and struggle for anything, and yet the Father cares for them. And they're glorious in their beauty and how they live in this world. So we have it backwards. And I understand logically the thinking is if I give this much time to God, that's less time that I'm giving to my business. And I don't see manna sitting on my table or falling in my backyard. So I've got X, Y, and Z. But it is this path. And this is the path of trust that we're invited into, that and it what it has to look like is there isn't enough and we're not going to make it in order for it to come through. That's how the faith is grown. It's not, oh, we have enough and I'm trusting God and we're going to have more at some point, but we're good. It's holy shit, I can't buy groceries this week. Now what are we going to do? I don't know what to do. And then money shows up. I've had many, many of those experiences. So this is how else is God going to break us away from the pattern of the ego in the world than to bring us to the end of it, exhausted, and then we'll turn to God. It's just like the prodigal son who had plenty when he left home and he whooped it up out there and he thought he was going to find a better life than he had with his father at home. And he had to get to the very, very end of everything that his father had given to him. And now he's even eating slop with the pigs, thinking, well, at least I could try going back home and take the position of a servant. This is our life. This is humanity's experience. So why, I'm just saying we don't have to wait that long. We could like wake up and go, hey, everything that I ever wanted is with my father. That's where I'm going to spend my days.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll find work. I mean, work will knock on your door. Work will ring your phone. It'll be there. It'll really be there. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, you have to release expectations on things to let things flow because you're putting such a tight stranglehold on the mindset. I have to have this now or have to have this by a certain date. And, you just have to, like you said, just kind of release that to your higher faith and let that take over. And that's the toughest thing, like Jevon saying, it's the toughest thing to do is to have that kind of faith and trust and, and just release that because we're so used to the fight or flight instinct, right? We're bred, we're bred instinctually as humans to be that way. And like you said, be the opposite of what we're learning
right.
in the teachings, right? So
Right.
it's just hard to realize that in day-to-day life, people working 9-to-5 jobs are out there programmed a certain way, or going to church, they're programmed a certain way. Because I know I grew up, in an environment where religion was meant to tame you and to put you in a certain place, so you were actually, not thinking for yourself and not
Yeah.
studying these things that we're studying right now.
Huh.
So I mean, it's just having that ability to, like you said, be awakened to recognize these things and then put ourselves in a position to be accepting, which is definitely, it's a hard thing to do.
It's hard for everybody.
Yeah.
Also, to the degree of difficulty that it is to lay those things down, is to the degree that you have made yourself God.
Mhm.
I am the God of my income. I am the God that puts food on the table. And I made that mistake with my first husband, who eventually over time, he was a chronic alcoholic, a very sweet man, but a chronic alcoholic, and he was obviously killing himself. And over time, he could no longer do his job the way that how he was hired to do. And so he couldn't make the money that he was hired to make. And I thought that he was the God of the roof over our head. I had totally misplaced that. And it wasn't until his life was threatened that God showed me. And I went down on my knees and I said, God, I do not trust you. I've never needed to trust you to bring money in, to be my provider, to put a roof over my head. I absolutely do not trust you in this way. I didn't have any kind of record of it. And when I got up off my knees, I had a phone call from my pastor who asked me how much money would I need to be able to continue my lifestyle while Tim was in recovery and not making any money. And I said $5,000 a month. And he said, you've got it. Now, I never saw that coming. That was never on my radar of possibilities of things, how God could get money to me. And that was like a big, huge, like I went, oh, this is how that works. Okay.
You have to put it out there. You have to say, "Hey, I need help." It has to come from you, right? People,
Yeah.
and then you have to speak it out to God. He doesn't read your mind. You have to speak it out and ask for these things, and when it happens, it happens, right? And these things will happen. You just not the time frame we always want them to happen in, right?
Yeah. They're
And like
always
you're
at the
saying,
perfect time.
things just come to you, like that, like you're saying, you
Yeah.
know.
It
That was a
becomes
good one.
I say it becomes a fun game to play.
Mm-hmm. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Jevon.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Lovely to start my morning with you and God.
I know, that was wonderful. Off I
Hey.
go. I'm just, being totally content. If you need me, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
We'll be checking on you.
I love you. Love to the family.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.